Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Leon Davis, and it's another session of City Jazz Sessions. Joining me in the studio today is Magic Band 50, Saxy Jazz, and Company. Today, we're having a special edition for the holidays. It's going to include our guest, Mark Harris Jr., the second.
The second. Yes.
The second.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
No,
Okay. So, Mark, for those people who might not be aware, what do you do?
I'm a jazz musician. I play piano, producer, conductor, arranger. Anything dealing with music is what I try and do.
So, how long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since about 3 years old. Ever since a young age, that's all I wanted to do was play music, all the way up through middle school, high school, everything.
Okay. Did you play sports in high school?
I did. I played basketball, and a lot of cats know what's up with that. So I did hoop a little bit. That was my thing. I wanted to go to the NBA.
You did?
Before music, but somebody dropped a bomb on me. Told me that it was a 1 in a billion chance that I'd make it to the NBA. And once I heard that, I was crushed. But luckily, music was there, so I said, well, let me put all my eggs in this basket instead. I think it's paying off. So
okay. So what instruments do you play?
I play bass a little bit, dabbling in bass. I started on drums. I play drums and piano.
Okay. Now I know at this. I had an opportunity to get to know a lot about your style of music.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you describe your style of music? My
style of music, I would say, is jazz influenced, kind of fusion based, and just feel good music. A lot of people try and put my music in a genre, like is it contemporary jazz, is it smooth jazz, traditional jazz. I don't like to generalize my music. It's just good music. Whatever you take away from it or however you feel when you listen to it is what it is. I just try and make good music. That's all.
Okay. So you have your own band, I understand.
I do. Here's a
caveat.
Secret. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here's a secret for people in St. Louis, and I know a lot of my musician friends. Jesse, what up, bro? Shy, that's my big bro right there. A secret about bands here in St. Louis is I think maybe only 40% of people here actually have a solidified band, like your Dirty Mugs and your Flirts and No IDs, people like that who are always together. Me, I get guns for hire.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I get cats now. I do have cats that I rock with and that I always call, but everybody's so busy, and I'm not knocking that. Everybody do your thing, take your time out, and really get your money. But I just try and utilize the cats that are available, and that want to help me out. So,
well, let me ask you a question, because one of the things that I've been made aware of is that consistency makes things better.
It does.
So when you're running doing what you're doing in a gun for hire way that you use that, how do you manage to get a consistent sound, something that you're putting forth and know that you're comfortable that it's going to be presented the same way, or at least close to the same way? Because there are musicians who no two performances are the same.
Right.
So do you subscribe to that, or do you try for a level of consistency?
I strive for a level of consistency. Anytime I do an event or before I'm getting ready to go into the studio or anything like that, I always blueprint my music. And when I say blueprint my music, I track it myself, which means I play everything. I play what I want the guitar player to do. I play what I want the drummer to do. I play what I want everybody to do. And that, in a sense, is my blueprint, and I give that to the band, whoever I'm working with. Now, luckily, I've been fortunate enough to have the same people playing each time consistently, throughout my career, as it were. But that's pretty much what I do, is just try and give a blueprint to them to follow. So that way, when we do shows, we stick to a formula. Now, I do pick people because I like improvisation. I believe jazz and music is always about improvisation. It may be something that my bass player may do that, I'm just like, oh wow, keep that, And a lot of times at our concert, as some people may know, when they come out, a lot of stuff is off off the cusp. We might make up a song right there on the stage, or you know, a lick right there on the stage, and that's what I like about the freedom of that. But we still like to be somewhat consistent in our sound.
Okay. So, or do you think that in the future you may go the band route, a solidified band, or you think you're going to continue to be a solo artist with a team of people that support you?
I would love to have a consistent band, and you know, and everything like that. And again, like I said, I do have consistent people that work with me. Shout out to Buddy Quarles, to my horns, you know, Tank Terry, Rhoda G, some Alex Bruce. Yeah, all of these cats. Phil Graves, that's my main man right there. So I do get consistency out of them, but you know, eventually, yeah, I would like to have a set, you know, band to where, you know, when we're going out of town and making moves, I have the same people with me all the time. That's every musician's dream. So,
okay. So that's just one of those industry things where until you and those people reach that level, then
right, yeah. Like I said, everybody has a lot going on. A lot of people are putting projects out. A lot of people are getting into the studio more in the St. Louis area. So I'm very happy for that, and anything I can do to help with, you know, with their stuff, you know, we want to push that and keep that going. So I never want anybody to feel tied down or, you know, anything like that.
So I noticed you have some of your stuff on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Do you have some of your stuff someplace else?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, of course, Pandora. I was fortunate enough to get my own Pandora station. So that's Mark Harris II Radio on Pandora. Make sure you check that out. I was listening to it on the way here, and Foreplay popped up. That was incredible. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. In this day and age, you know, I'm glad that we have those outlets to be able to put our music, you know, out. We're not just restricted to radio. You know?
Now, and that's that was the question I was kind of leading into. How has the change in technology and the growth of the internet and all of this, how has that either helped you or hurt you?
I believe it's helped tremendously. Like, you know, like I said, I don't know. I can't say back in the day. I'm not that old, but you know, back in the day, we didn't have. If I made a song, the way I could get it out was to burn it to a CD and go stand outside and try and sell it, or you know, wherever I was. But now, you know, with the click of a button, I can upload it to Facebook. I can upload it to iTunes, or you know, anywhere, and you know, millions of people can see and hear it, you know, in a short amount of time. So I believe definitely that has helped me and a lot of other artists, you know, that are out here. So,
and so, do you have like your own studio at the home where you mix it, do your mixes, and
my wife won't let me. No. I do have of course, you know, a place where I do pre-recording and things like that. Like I said, ideas and stuff like that. But for the most part, Shock City Studios is where I go. Plug. Shock City Studios is where I go here in St. Louis. They, ever since we started Imagine, which is the project you just heard, they've been tremendously great and opening their doors and allowing me to come in and pretty much just utilize a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, you could ask better. Shout out to Luke Aarons, who engineered that project. Me and him, we're definitely on the same wavelength. So it's good as a musician. It's hard for me to create the music, play the music, engineer the music, mix and match. You know, that's just a lot to do, and I'm not an engineer. So it's good to always have somebody who knows what they're doing. So yeah, that's where I go for my musical needs. Shock City.
So some of the old what I want to call it, historical methods of distributing music are still very much at play in this current environment, and you're still benefiting from some of that experience and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime I do a concert or anything like that, I have a chance to sell CDs. People do still buy hard CDs. So I definitely will not get away from selling hard CDs and things like that. So yeah, the old and the new, you just couple them both together and just get your music out there the best way you can.
So you mentioned selling CDs. Are you making money with your CDs? Are you reaching an audience out there?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we you know, made a few little pennies off of that. I'm grateful for that. But you know, with Imagine, and I know it's the old adage, but I didn't do it for the money. And quick plug to anybody that's putting music out, especially if you're distributing it digitally. Do not look at the money. That'll come, but it comes slowly but surely. I mean, you know, if you're putting out music just to get rich quick, it won't work. But if you put out something that you're passionate about and that you love to do, the money will come. Trust me, the money will come, exposure will come. But the main thing is to be able to put out music that you want to put out and try and reach, you know, people all over around the world. I got a chance to go to Hong Kong last March, and I was surprised at a lot of people who had heard, you know, my song before I even got there, you know, and to me, that's saying something. That means more to me than, you know, $10 on the CD. Yeah, that means way more to me, or Canada or anywhere like that, you know, to be able to go to those places and people know who you are or know of your music. To me, that's the ultimate feeling.
Now, how did you wind up taking that trip?
Hong Kong, I got to go out there with a fantastic female singer by the name of Brenda Vine, the soul queen of Tokyo. I was on my way to a gig and she called me, spared a moment. I didn't know who she was. I wasn't gonna answer. I thought it was a bill collector or something. I don't know, but she called and said, "Hey, I want you to go to Hong Kong. I saw your video. I love what you're doing." And she really reached out and gave me an opportunity to go over there, and I'm forever grateful to that. I think we might be going back, so that's always a great thing. She really believes in paying it forward, reaching back and getting people who may not have had an opportunity to travel internationally and things like that. So shout out to her if she's watching.
Excellent. One of the things that we talked about, or at least I heard you talking about before we actually went on live, was some of the influences that you use in creating your music. So what are some of those influences?
Those influences are, of course, people like Foreplay. I grew up listening to them, Bob James, Nathan East, and then Brian Culberson, who's a phenomenal pianist, Pieces of a Dream. I got a chance to meet James Lloyd, and then when they were here last year, even some St. Louis cats, Jesse Prather. I used to steal licks from him all the time. I still do, bro. And James Holloway Jr. Just a lot of cats, that have really just influenced me to not only my style of music, but my discipline, my mindset. A lot of them, my character. Those are key things that kind of determine your altitude, if you will.
Okay. So you had mentioned that you have a family.
I do.
How does family life differ now that you are more of an accomplished artist and are, plying your craft?
You have to have a balance.
Okay.
And any musician as a family knows, you definitely have to have a balance. There may be days where I'm doing a gig or I have to do a gig, and I may have to say no and set aside that time to spend time with the family and do things like that. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but we try to make it work. We're a team, and we all see the bigger picture. And as the man, I have to have the vision, for everybody. And so we just try and do whatever we can to make sure that we reach our goals as a family, and just making the vision plain.
So I don't know. Do you have a management staff, or you have some other staff that's helping you manage your gigs and tracking your music and making sure, following up with getting your music out there, or are you still having to handle all of that yourself?
As far as the music portion goes, I pretty much try and handle that myself. Not saying it's a great thing, but I've when it comes to my music, I'm that's your baby. You don't just entrust that to everybody. And so that's one of the things I am definitely learning. Shout out to James Witherspoon and Breakaway Productions. He came to my CD release when I released Imagine, and he really kind of stepped in and just pointed me in the right direction as far as meeting different people and introducing me to different people outside of St. Louis. I always joke and say that in St. Louis, as a musician, you really don't need a manager. Not to say that, it's not great to have one, but you really don't need one because it's so small. 9 times out of 10, I know the promoter or the club owner, I can just call them right away. But when you step outside and go to different venues where somebody may not know who you are, it's always a great thing to have somebody to speak on your behalf. A lot of these promoters outside of here or A&Rs and things, they don't talk to artists at all. They talk to somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's definitely good to have somebody. And like I said, James Witherspoon has he's done a great job so far and really connecting me with different people.
Okay. So you're enjoying playing your music. I know you talked about you got something coming up out the country soon.
But before we get to that, I have something coming up Saturday.
Okay.
That I definitely want people in the St. Louis area to come out and support. We're doing a Home for the Holidays Christmas concert at the Zac, which is going to be a great concert. Like I said, I've never played in the Zac before. It was formerly Plush, I believe, before it was the Zac Grand Center got it, and a really state-of-the-art building. And I'm excited to play in there. We got a lot of, my band. I bring a lot of cats to the stage. I like to share in that energy, and so we're just gonna have fun. We're doing a lot of Christmas tunes. We're gonna do some off the album maybe, but we kind of reimagine those Christmas tunes and just want to make them as different as we can, but still sticking to the same tradition. We just want to make it fun, and we're gonna have a good time. So make sure you come out. Also, let me see, my live still. Yep. Also, I have 2 tickets, and I know they didn't know I was gonna do that. I have 2 tickets free for the first person that commented on this live video. 2 free tickets. So gotta plug that. So we got 2 show times, one at 6 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. Just in case. I know it's a lot going on Saturday, but we want people to come out and enjoy, and it's for a cause. I was able to partner with St. Louis Children's Hospital, and we want to donate toys. We want to give toys out there to those kids who, whose parents may not be able to go Christmas shopping and things like that. We want to make sure that those kids have toys to open up on Monday, and let the community and the city know that we care about, these kids,
So, all right, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have a website, or do you have some way that people can follow you so they know where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, so they can come out and support you?
Absolutely. Well, the website right now is under construction. Shout out to Quick Brian. They're handling my website right now. But for the most part, metrotix.com. I'm on Facebook. I do not have an Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I do not have an IG yet. I don't.
A lot of people on Instagram.
I know it's a lot of people on Instagram. I just haven't got into it yet. Maybe I'll do that today, set up my account or something. I've always been a private person, and I guess, doing things that I'm doing, I guess you kind of got to step out of that. So eventually I'll get that going. But right now, just look for me on Facebook. Just check me out. I'll be available. So
you're running a fan page on Facebook? Or are you just using your Facebook account?
Just using my Facebook account. I like I said, I've been doing so much. Maybe I do need to get a team to handle that. So,
Well, I'm just want to make sure that. So let me find out where you want to go first. Because if you're happy doing what you do, maybe you don't need all of that. So where do you want to go? What do you want to do with your music?
I want to do as much as I can. I want to do everything that I can. Anything. The sky is never the limit for me. It's always, and Charles Coyle said that this morning, and that was so true. He said a lot of people say the sky is the limit, and he said we want to reach past the sky. We want to go to the stars, and that's definitely what I'm about. So anything that I can do as far as God to take me is what I want to do. I mean, I don't think that's predicated on IG or anything like that. If you're doing what you're supposed to do as a musician, and you're doing what you're supposed to do and what you love to do, it'll happen. Whether you have IG or Snapchat or anything, it's gonna happen. I've done a lot of things with just having Facebook, but of course I know we do have to take it to the next level. So I will.
So you see that next level then as, I don't know, And the reason I ask, I have a tendency to, my friends here know that I'm an organizer. Everything, I put everything down and all. And so knowing that next step can help you achieve what it is that you want to accomplish.
Absolutely.
So I just want to encourage you in that aspect of it.
Yes, sir.
What I know you say you want people to get out of the music what they get out of the music. What do you, when you put something together, when you put a masterpiece together, when you feel good about a piece,
mm-hmm.
What is it that about that piece that just feels right?
For me, it's when I'm creating it, and I hear it back. You know, a lot of times as musicians, we're our own biggest critic.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the songs that I do, you know, it may not seem right, but then I go back and listen to it a week, you know, later, and then I say, okay, you know, that's the one.
Okay.
And my dad is a heavy influence because he's a jazz connoisseur. He listens to all types of jazz. So if I play it for him and he says, that's good, son, then it's going out, you know, because I trust his ear. And then lately, I go off the feedback of the people that listen to the music. You know, when I get comments on a song or something like that, where people say, hey man, that sounds great and things like that, that definitely is an encouragement to say, okay, hey, I'm in the right ballpark. And it just feels good. That's why I said, you know, I don't like to generalize my music. That's why I named the first CD Imagine, because I want people to use their imagination. Whatever you feel like this song is saying to you, then, you know, that's what it is.
Okay, so it's your first CD, and that just dropped?
That dropped, no, about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you working on the second CD, or you still living off the first?
I'm working on the second CD is done. I'm sending it off for mixing and mastering, and we're gonna get that out. It's called Interstellar, and like I said, on that one, we kind of followed the same format with Imagine, but this time it was much easier. I didn't have the same reservations I did when I did Imagine. You know, is this gonna sound right? We went in, we knew what to do. Again, Shot City. The engineer knew what I wanted. The musicians who I called, they knew what I wanted, and they knew my style at that point. So this one is a lot more relaxed, but it's a lot more free. Got a lot of special people on that one. Amber Bullock, Jeanette Harris, actually, who was just here at the ZAC a couple of weeks ago. I got a chance to talk to her and got her on, you know, to do something on there. So it's just great, you know. It's a good free CD. So
okay, so you're feeling really good about the music, and you're feeling really good about the organization around you.
I am definitely, you know, like I said, everybody on this one, everybody kind of knows what I want, and everybody kind of has, you know, their mindset, you know, tuned into that. So yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
So right now you're just focusing on the music. You don't want to get into, I don't know, music soundtracks or something like that.
Yeah, I do eventually. I got a chance to hang out with my big bro Corey James in Houston, and he's really doing his thing, man. Like he's just written 5 tracks in the last like 2 years or something, and all of them are charting. So yeah, but he was just explaining to me about you know, how to get your music out there in terms of movies and, you know, things like that. So, you know, definitely that's the next step. You know, whatever happens, whatever opportunity or challenge or, you know, obstacle comes, you know, we gonna go through it.
Now I know you had talked earlier about you get a lot of people come in and sit in. Is there anyone that you'd like to play with, just to, you know, have the experience of playing with? You know, is that a good question?
That's a great question. Anybody that I would want to play with, of course. I mean, there's so many dope musicians. I would love to play with Corey Henry or Snarky Puppy. Like, to me, I think that would fry my brain in a good way.
I understand.
But I think that would definitely challenge me. Of course, I would love to play with Brian Cobus, even though we're both keyboard players or piano players. Andrew Goucher, I would love to play with him. Jeanette Harris, got to throw her out there. So, you know, it's a lot of cats that I would love to play with. I get to play with Jesse Prather all the time. That's one of my, you know, St. Louis heroes as far as keyboards to me, man. So, you know, whoever I can play with.
So I know that in some areas of the music industry, collaborations is a big part of how they continue to push the music forward.
Absolutely.
So, are you looking at collaborations as a to augment where you are?
I mean, absolutely, and I see that a lot, especially in jazz. And to me, it's I like it, but I don't feel like that we should put all our eggs in that basket. Like a lot of the times, these jazz artists now, because jazz is it's up and down, especially here in this city. Like people like Robert Glasper, I find that they have to do songs with Layla Hathaway or Jill Scott or Erykah Badu in order to, push their music,
Right,
but
right.
I feel like we should be able to, that's a great thing to do, but we shouldn't have to do that. These jazz festivals are becoming more commercialized to where, you got Snoop Dogg as your featured artist at a jazz festival. That's not that's not
It's crazy.
that is crazy. That's not cool. I mean, we should be able to hold our own as the jazz community should be able to hold our own. And anybody that supports jazz, support it wholeheartedly, especially in St. Louis City. If you're doing jazz, support it, man. If you know somebody that's doing jazz or just instrumental music or just good music in general, support it, because you never know. You never know who you might look up and see on that Grammy stage, you know what I mean, or whatever. But support, and we have to, especially in our city, man. A lot of these young kids are lost, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And I know I can speak for me. If I wasn't doing music, I could be doing so many other things right
You could be
now.
leading in another
I could,
direction.
yeah, I could be totally in another direction. So we have to support our kids. We have to make sure that we cultivate their imaginations and their creativeness. Bring back the arts. I teach my son that every day. We need to bring back the arts, because if not, they will get caught up in the wrong things. Not all of this music is positive. So we got to do our best as a community to support arts.
Okay, well, there's a couple of questions that jumped up after that. So I'll ask them both, and then I'll try to remember to make sure we go back, because you can answer one. One is recognition. So you got the Grammys, you got a few other smaller awards where artists are recognized, and is that how important is that to you to be recognized that way? And the second question would be, some people have called certain aspects of the rap era not art.
Mm.
How would you classify something as not art? Because we understand that there's different people have different ways of expressing themselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll talk about the awards and how I know fan recognition is good, but how important is industry recognition, and talk about how you define art.
Okay, with the first question, industry recognition to me, I've always felt like 1 minute they love you, the next minute they'll cast you away. So while the Grammys and things like that may solidify you as, I'm a Grammy Award winner, and I know plenty of them, that are at the house, just sitting around. I mean, so
Okay.
to me, that doesn't make or break me. Again, like I said, when I do my music, I don't do it for, I want to reach the Grammys, or I want to reach this, or I reach that. I do it because that's just what I love to do. I love making music. If I could get up every morning of my life and just make music, I'm fine with that. That's my passion. So I don't do it for that. So while that's great, you know what I mean, it doesn't dictate or define my music. Now, there are some artists who, that's what they do it for, you know what I mean? But again, like I said, the industry is a lot like life. 1 minute, they take you up and tell you, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then the next minute, they'll kick you to the side for somebody different or younger. So that's my spiel on that. And in regards to what I classify as art, I attended Lincoln University, and we had a music history class, and we used to have that debate all the time with my professor, Miss Gambling Green. she would play a song. It was called The Banshee, and all that was a guy on the piano just scraping the strings of the piano with a quarter or something like that, or just ambient noises.
Right.
And she would ask, do you consider this music, or do you consider this art? And at the time, as a younger person, I was like, that's not art. He just sitting here doing this, and it took me a while and a lot of maturity for me to really understand that everybody does express art differently. As far as these rappers and things like that, that is nothing but them just expressing, their art, or however they do it. However, I do believe that the industry influences a lot of what they consider art. If I take a rapper who's rapping about drugs and rapping about, raping women, or, whatever they're rapping about, 9 times out of 10, if you go talk to that artist, that's not really what they're about. There are some that are and who came from that life, but that's not really what they're, about. That's the industry telling them this is what's selling. This is how you're going to, make your name, or this is how you're going to go far. You have to talk about this and talk about that. So, I don't ever discredit anyone's, creativeness. I just say, let's be more mindful of the audience that we're attracting, especially us as a Black community, man. We really have to be mindful of the things that we're saying and the things that we're teaching our kids, man.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on any particular aspect of it, but one of the things that so I've asked myself, what is art? Art is objective. If you like it, then you'll consider it art. If you don't like it, then you may not consider it art. And so yeah, I can see. So I didn't want to, it's easy to pick on the smaller guy in the room.
Right.
So I didn't want to pick on him. I just, somebody who's, you pursue your art because you love what you do.
Right.
And so I want, it's good that we have the discussion about what is art. Like you said, the guy scraping the quarter across can be considered an artist.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when some people define art, I think, off of the amount of energy and work that you put into something. If I come out and play 3 chords, somebody who just came out and played 12 chords in a whole symphony, they may not consider what I just did art, but to the common person who doesn't know, anything about what I'm doing, they may say, well, we love that more, even though this guy just did a whole, sonata. It's all about understanding, and people connecting with what it is, that you're doing, how that makes them feel. And that's why I love music so much, because it's a play on your emotions. How does this song make you feel? A song can make you feel happy, it can make you feel sad, and it can make you feel a whole lot of emotions. So really, that's I mean, it's all art.
So I'm going to give you a couple more questions, and I'm going to give you a chance to get up out of here.
Yes, sir.
One, I've had this question come up a couple of times. I'm not a musician, but the concept of reading music. You read music, you play by ear?
Both. I read music. I was, like I said, I attended Lincoln University, and that was something that they really instilled in us. Shout out to Ms. Harper, who gave me a full scholarship to Lincoln University to play in band. So we did, read music, even in high school, in middle school. 4th grade, I was reading music. I do believe that is important. That is essential. It's just learning your craft. You know what I mean? You want to be as well-rounded in your craft as you can be, and whatever that can entail. Like I said, reading music definitely helps you on a level where you may go somewhere and a Fantasia or Beyonce or anybody may say, hey, we need a keyboard player right now. Here's the chart. You can be the coldest keyboard player in the world, but if you can't read the charts, you don't get the gig. So I believe in being well-rounded. Now, when I go to church, I don't have to read. That's really more ear. Somebody may come up and sing a solo, and you got to find it, just right there. So I just believe in being well-rounded, but definitely being able to read, being able to transcribe, being able to compose and arrange. All of these are facets of your craft that you should know.
Does it kick out?
Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
battery low. Shout out to
Oh, okay. Well, good thing I'm down to my last question. So I'm going to ask my studio teammates if they've got anything they'd like to add.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
I've been following this guy just for a couple of months. Are you familiar with Jose James?
Jose James.
Vocalist.
No, sir.
Jazz vocalist. Very interesting guy.
No, sir.
Okay. And before you close, be sure to plug the show this Saturday again.
Absolutely.
So those that might miss it.
Do you teach?
Do I teach?
Do you teach music? Do you teach at all?
I don't teach in a conventional sense. I play with a lot of people where I'm the music director. So, you know, I try and guide people. But as far as teaching, I feel like if I'm going to teach, I want to be as committed to that student, you know, as they are to learning. If I'm not in a position to be there, you know, as much as they would need me to be, then I would never want to take a student on if I have a busy schedule, or because, you know, with music it's you know, you never want it to be hit and miss. If I'm teaching somebody, I want to be locked in all the way, and I would be doing
that
somebody.
Would be your whole thing.
Right? Yeah. I feel like I would be doing somebody an injustice if I could.
I like that answer. That's
Yes, sir.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Anything else, teammates?
No, that's it for now. But we would we appreciate you coming by.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you all
And
for
shout out
having
to
me.
James for hooking this up.
Shout out to
Who
Who
gets the tickets? Did you find out who gets the ticket?
I didn't find out who got the tickets just yet. I'm gonna go back and look at the live feed. And see
He's hot over here, man. There's so many
Yeah, man.
people. I haven't seen so many names. I was like, I got dizzy just all the names running through that.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought
I'm
that would be the first one.
gonna go back and look at the comments and see who the first one that commented was, and they're gonna get those free tickets. Again, I'll see you this Saturday at the Zach. It's December 23rd. I will repost the flyer, that way you can get the address. One show at 6 p.m., one show at 8 p.m. We're gonna come out, we're gonna have a great time, and again, it's for a good cause. Bring a toy, wrapped or unwrapped. That way we can place it under the tree and get those to the kids.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you very much. I had a wonderful time talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. Great conversation. Thank you.
I'm Leon Davis. This is another session of City Jazz Sessions. Magic Man 50, Sexy Jazz, want to thank you very much. And we'll try to get him to get you back so we can talk some more.
Absolutely.
All right, Mark Harris the second, y'all.
Mark Harris 2.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cool. Let me see. Got that, man. Appreciate y'all again, man.
Oh, hey,
Great
man.
questions, man.
Well,
Great
thank you.
questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, where do I, St. Louis City Jazz, where do I find you all? I guess in the city. So I know you all do a lot of stuff down at the Crown.
No, you'll have to ask my brother here. He's coordinating how we release our material, but I'm sure we can get you a copy of our video if you want a copy of it.
Yes, sir.
To include. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead when we close it out. We'll re-download the video and we'll
Shoot him a copy.
That's our business page right there.
Okay.
City
Okay.
Jazz
Okay. Yeah.
USA, and we're friends on regular Facebook.
Okay. Cool. Man, I appreciate you all so much taking your time.
Thank you.
No, man, I learned a lot. I'm glad you came in. Straight up.
How you doing there, James? All right, let me turn this down. How you doing, man? What's going on? How much did you catch? You got it all? Okay, great, man.
Boom.
We're gonna replay it, you know, and hook them up with the video, and definitely you're gonna be there Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'm there, man. I'm working, but I'm taking off Saturday. This is who I represent. I got to be in the house.
Got to be in the house. Bro.
All right, most definitely. Then look forward to seeing you down there, man. I haven't been to that venue yet, so.
Oh, yeah,
It's brand new. A lot of people are gonna like it. I'm glad that we chose it to kind of put it on display. There's gonna be a lot of good things happening there, and we're pushing it over the top.
Great.
It's getting good response. I know I've been on Facebook every day, as y'all all know.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna be a great concert. And I want to thank you guys for boy up.
It's a pleasure, man. I like Mark. He can come back anytime, man.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I got to see that, but
Well,
thank you again.
All right, my brother.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care now.
Thank you again. I appreciate that. It's good news. You a musician?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Well, we're gonna cut it off now, but we'll definitely be in touch, and we'll see you Saturday.
Don't say.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, peace, man.
Hey, that's crazy. Mystic Voyage. That was when I came back. That was the first band that I saw. As a kid, my mom took me to. Y'all did a Stevie Wonder tribute.
Yeah.
And I remember where.
Was that the History Museum?
No, not the new one. This was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
It was a long time.
So what, we get an hour in, hour and a half? What's up?
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Honor to meet you.
Now I do a solo show.
We started right around 3.
You want me to stop the live because it's still rolling?
Oh yeah.
I will be with you.
Let's do a quick edit on that.
Yeah.
And
I'm with Martha Reeves of the band.
Go ahead.
I'll be in town this weekend.